The Sharks get shut out for the 9th time this season, but hey, this time it was Scrappy.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Probably part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everyday, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And the Sharks, they lose Scrappy in a shootout or shutout, 4-0 to the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm going to talk about why this game was very much a good game, good effort vibes game, despite not scoring a goal. Look at how the lines looked, why we need to see a Zadina. Zadina needs to play in the top 6. We're going to discuss that. And then we're going to check in on the Bordeleau and the Barracuda, and if Bordeleau is going to be ready to kind of make that jump here soon. So before we get into all that, I do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Fighting through day-to-day upper body injury, still coming off a cold. Voice is not quite there yet, so we're going to power through this as best we can. I apologize in advance as I probably sound horrible. Been saving my voice all day for this 30-minute shot here, so you're going to get it all the best I can here. So Sharks lose 4-0. In this game, very much felt like Vegas, as we've seen them do, very much big brother, little brother, right? I'm going to do enough to kind of get ahead, and then I'm just going to kind of keep you at arm's length for the rest of the game. Kind of just do enough and focus on other things because I'm busy doing other things than to mess with you. And the Sharks came out of this game really, really strong. In the first 2 minutes, they had 2 posts, and you wonder if they're able to capitalize on that, score on one of those, maybe kind of make Vegas have to work a little bit more if this game is different. But Vegas takes advantage of some of their opportunities. Johnny Gaudreau's seen just shaking his fist after he watches the Sharks give up a breakaway the first 3 minutes of the game that actually gets scored. And then William Karlsson is able to pound one home. And Vegas, again, this is what they do to the Sharks, is what they've done to the Sharks, especially over the past couple of years. I'm going to get up a couple of goals. I'm going to park the bus because I know you are not going to be able to score 2-3 goals on us because our defense is too good and our goaltending is too good. And that's just kind of been their formula for victory in the series. And it has worked as they've now swept the Sharks this season, winning all 4 games. And the only point the Sharks got was, during their hey, good vibes Sharks run when they went force a shootout. And that was, I think, a Mike Hoffman hurdle goal at the end of the regulation with the goalie pulled to get that one even, if I recall correctly. But this is just, they're playing 2 different sports right now. Vegas is one of the best teams in the NHL. They're the defending champions. I think they need, again, I'm not a Vegas fan, but just watching their power play, which they had 5 power play opportunities to the Sharks 1, and they're, the very ticky-tack calls, but the Sharks didn't earn any power play opportunities, right? But I feel like Vegas does need one more piece on their power play, and I know they don't have Jack Eichel, but they need a guy who can, another scorer on them. So, and I would expect them to be aggressive at the trade deadline because that's what Vegas is. Vegas is a very aggressive organization, and it's worked for them. But overall, though, you did see some positive things. I think the Sharks did play well, especially in the second period. Again, granted, Vegas parked the bus, right? They were, okay, if you can break through our defense and then get past Logan Thompson and score, hat tip to you. If you can do it 3 times, then more power to you. But I thought Sharks did do a good job of kind of at least in the second period, controlling chunks of the second period. And we'll get into the numbers here in a little bit. But we had, Alexander Barabanov was a healthy scratch for this game. Mike Hoffman playing on the second line. Filip Zadina, though, continues to play well. And ever since the All-Star break, he's playing with a different confidence. And I would love to see him get rewarded with that confidence and play on that Eklund line. If Zadina, Eklund, Cunnin, fine. But let's get Zadina into the top 6 because he has worked hard and he has been performing and he's making his lines better. And again, we get to the lines. His line was really, really good today. Spoiler, they were very, very good. Of Zadina, Sturm, and LeBanc. They were the best Sharks line. It's pretty easy to say that they were the best Sharks line in this game. And let's see what happens if he plays with some better players for more than like a shift or two. Like let's put him on the top line. And the Sharks do have a couple days off, right? They don't play again until Saturday. Get him, get Zadina, get with Eklund, see if they can kind of start forming some chemistry. And if you want to have Cunnin, if you want to have Barabanov, or whoever you want to put in that line, or even LeBanc, maybe you just take that second line or that third line and move it up and put LeBanc and Zadina with Eklund and see what happens, because this team has been struggling to score goals as they've been shut out now nine times this season, tying their franchise record. They still have like 27 games left. So I set the over under at 12 and a half shutouts this season. And it's going to be pretty close, but especially at the trade deadline. So we'll continue to, of course, look at what the team's going to do and who comes up and stuff like that as the season goes on. But for this game, though, it was like they did a lot of good stuff, and you saw some kind of sustained zone time, and you saw, some good pressure. But again, just very much big brother, right? The big brother Vegas Golden Knights, and that's what they are right now. They are the big brother to the San Jose Sharks. And it's going to be like that for the foreseeable future of just them. I'll let you kind of mess around for a little bit, but then when it gets go time, we're just a better team than you. I'm bigger, I'm better, I'm faster, I'm stronger, and there's nothing you could do. And that's just the state of these organizations right now. So, and it's going to be like that for the next couple of seasons, unfortunately, for San Jose. Mackenzie Blackwood, we'll get into his numbers here in a minute. I thought he played okay-ish today. Did kind of give up some rebounds that you would like to maybe see him control a little bit better. But Mackenzie Blackwood, I thought he did play pretty well today. We'll get into his numbers here in a little bit, but did give up some rebounds. And again, like Vegas basically kind of parked, and all their shots were really good at getting quality chances, especially in the first period. And it's kind of hard to control the rebound when it is point blank high danger chances. Those are kind of, and that's how like the William Karlsson goal was scored, was point blank shot. Karlsson just kind of beats the defender going forward, and not much Mackenzie Blackwood could do there. And I think this was probably Blackwood's it's his worst game, I would say, kind of in a while. But again, not too much to do. Vegas kind of did what they wanted. They controlled the pace and tone of this game. And if they had worse puck luck, I bet this game would have been even uglier when it comes to the stats. So we'll dig into the stats here in a minute. Look at how they don't look too bad. We'll view the numbers, check in on some of those, some of the different lines from the Sharks to kind of see how those guys played. And then we'll also talk about Bordeleau and the Barracuda here in just 1 minute. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Again, Steph Curry is hot right now. Just keep betting on Steph Curry doing Steph Curry things. I think he's gotten seven or more threes in like 4 straight games. just keep betting on Steph Curry doing Steph Curry things, because watching Steph Curry do Steph Curry things is fun, and you might as well make some money while he does it. So just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sports partner of the NBA. All right. So let's dig into the numbers for this game. We had a lot of penalties. So Sharks had 5 penalties in this game. Vegas was able to kind of go 1 for 5 on those. The Sharks had 1 power play opportunity. Again, it's hard to draw penalties when you're not controlling the pace of play, when you're not playing any other team's offensive zone. That's where most penalties are called, right? So 47-45 of the 5v5 play. Sharks outshot early shot attempts wise, and shots. They outshot Vegas 58-48 Corsi for, 54.72 Corsi for in favor of the Sharks. Actual shots was 24-20 in favor of San Jose. Scoring chances 33-23 in favor of San Jose. High danger chances 13-9 in favor of San Jose. But the story is basically the first period in this game, where Vegas came out. They kind of set the tone. They let San Jose kind of do their thing for like 2 minutes, and then they basically just put their foot down. So the expected goals for this game was 2.42 to 2.53 in favor of the Golden Knights. Vegas had 1.82 expected goals for in the first period. So they did the majority of their damage in the first period. And like I said, they basically held on for the rest of the game. But credit to the Sharks. They kind of worked themselves back in this game. Second period shot attempts was 21-8 in favor of San Jose at 5v5. 11-3 scoring chances for, 4-1 high danger chances for. Even in the third period, it's a little bit closer. I think Vegas kind of stopped playing with their food here for a little bit. We're trying to get that fourth goal to put this game away. They got their fourth goal at the end of the second, but kind of just trying to put things away. But credit to the Sharks for kind of fighting back into this game. But again, just such a talent poor team, especially without Couture, without Hurdle, with Barabanov being a healthy scratch today. Not too much that San Jose could do. And the defense, I thought, we've seen recently, the defense has been going back to the Blue Jackets game of giving up a lot of breakaways, which we haven't really seen from this team, especially since the beginning of the season, right? Go back to the beginning of the season when they lost the first 11 games. They gave up a ton of breakaways or 2-on-1s or odd man rushes. You saw it in the beginning of the game, they kind of tightened things up, but you're still seeing those leaks starting to happen. And as pieces get taken away, you're going to probably continue to see more and more of those. They got lucky-ish starting it against Columbus, but Vegas, man, they'll make you pay, and that's what they did. So let's look at the lines here really quick. So you had Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair. You had Eklund, Cunnin, Hoffman, and then you Zadina, Sturm, LeBanc, and then McDonald, Carpenter, Bailey, and of course with Carpenter, with Bailey being a defenseman, his numbers don't show up on the natural stat trick among the forward lines, but Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair played 746, and they had an awful game. 4 shot attempts, gave up 19. Actual shots was 3-10. Did give up a goal. Expected goals for was 0.08 to 1.23. Woof. Brutal. 1 to 11 scoring chances for, 0-6 high danger chances. 0-3-1 zone starts. Zadina, Sturm, LeBanc actually played the second most amount of time, and they had a great game. 743 time on ice, 15-7 shot attempts, 5-3 actual shots. Did give up a goal, but 0.5 to 0.16 expected goals for, 9-2 scoring chances for, 3-0 0 high danger chances for, 2-1 for your zone starts. Kynan Eklund Hoffman, 728, 6-5 shot attempts, 1 to 3 actual shots, 0 to 1 goals, 0.32 to 0.24 expected goals, 6 to 2 scoring chances, 3 to 2 high danger chances, with 2-3-2 zone starts. So you see the Zadina Lebank Sturmline was working really, really well. I know this, and we saw these lines get broken up, especially in the third period, as Quinn was trying to put stuff together to try to come up with any sort of offense in this game. But again, like it's just a little too late there. So yeah, it kind of is what it is for them. So as for our dude Mackenzie Blackwood, all situations, gave up 4 goals, 22 saves on 26 shots. Expected goal against was 3.8, so pretty close. Again, very much quantity over quality over quantity for Vegas. 846 save percentage, 4.3 goals against average, 5 high danger saves against 8 high danger shots. He had faced 7 high danger shots in the first period alone. So Sharks, again, at least they cleaned that part up, right? 9 mid-danger to saves on 10 mid-danger shots and 8 for 8 on low-danger saves. So, again, I don't think it was Blackwood's sharpest game. We've definitely seen better games out of him, but, I don't think it was his worst game at all. So, just kind of I think an average-ish game for Blackwood there. So, defensively, 5v5 Corsi. Actually, McDonald, not too bad. Man, McDonald played what? Probably when McDonald was on the ice, the Sharks outshot Vegas 20-2. Shot attempt at least, excuse me. Same thing with Carpenter. Yeah, that Carpenter Bailey McDonald line played really, really well. They were kind of dominant. Looking at their Corsi 4. So that fourth line was really, really good for the Sharks. But again, those guys are playing like 10 minutes a night. So defensively, so we had Vlasic. He kind of led the way for Corsi for 25 shot attempts to 15, so 62%. Henry Thornton made his return. He 19 shot attempts to 12, 61%. Ruda 18 to 12, 60%. Kalen Addison 23 to 20, 53%. Ferraro 18 to 17, 51%. And Ty Emerson 13 to 19, 39.39%. So, yeah, I thought the defense was okay. They were definitely a mess in the first period. I think Vegas kind of bailed them out because if Vegas wanted, I think this could have been a game where if Vegas wanted to embarrass the Sharks, they could have embarrassed the Sharks. But yeah, they again wanted to just kind of do their thing. So let's talk about something more interesting, and that's when do we see Thomas Bordeleau? Has he made any strides to kind of with the Barracuda to kind of earn that effort and earn that his chance to come play with the Sharks? We'll talk about the Sharks and a much improved Barracuda team here in just 1 second. Buying tickets to sports, music, comedy, theater events shouldn't be stressful. That's where Game Time comes in. They have killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seats, and their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. The thing I love about Game Time, with their app, you can actually see what your seats are going to look like. There's nothing worse than getting to an event and realizing you have bad seats. Actually, the only thing worse than that is when you go to check out and they slam a bunch of fees on you. Game Time has their all-in pricing, so you know exactly what you're going to pay when you go to check out. There's no surprises, no hidden fees, anything like that. That way you know if you're getting a great deal when you check out. You can buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps, and Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. Thomas Bordeleau and the San Jose Barracuda. So I know the Barracuda this season it's fair to say that they have been a bit of a disappointment, but I think this team has really found themselves recently. And I think it's a good combination of the young guys contributing and then the older guys playing as well. And the older guys like Cole Castles, Nathan Todd, Scott Sabrin, those guys have been pulling their weights, especially kind of the second half of the season here. And then you're also getting contributions from your young players like Thomas Bordeleau, who since returning from his injury, he's been playing really, really well. Pulling up his stats right now. So Bordeleau in the last couple games here has I think really kind of found a different year for the Barracuda. And he's really, again, the thing with Bordeleau, right, is the offense, and Nick Nolan kind of talked about this on the pregame show today. The offensive talent is there, and you see it, right? He oozes offensive talent. But it's always again, this is the big question we talked about with Eklund, with Jay, or like Kent Johnson. If you're not scoring goals, what else are you doing for me? And I think Bordeleau's starting to kind of figure that part out of like, yeah, I can score goals and make pretty plays, but that's not going to be what keeps me in the NHL. And for Bordeleau, so in 29 games this year, he has 23 points in 29 games, that's a great. That's, again, he had 41 points in 65 games last year, and for the Barracuda, but kind of since his return. So he's been on fire. So he returned January 27th after missing a couple weeks with an injury. He had a goal. He's basically in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. He's gotten a goal, and then 2, 6, 7 assists in that time, so 8 points in those games. But I think though you're really kind of seeing him realize like I have to play better. I have to back check. You saw Alexander Barabanov, right? Didn't back check, lead to a game-winning goal. Next thing you know, he's a healthy scratch. You've seen that with Duclair. You've seen that with Vlasic this year. I mean, if those guys can get healthy scratch, why Thomas Bordeleau, who's 21, 22 years old, more than ripe to get healthy scratch. But I think though his play has kind of also been a big reason why the Barracuda have been playing much, much better. And I know they lost 4-0 against Coachella Valley, and it looks that game was way closer than it looks. Like Coachella got 2 empty net goals, and Chris Drieger stole that game. Like, if they don't do expected goals for, but the Barracuda had a ton of expected goals in that game. Like, Bordeleau got robbed in that game. Like, there's plenty of that game was a very winnable game. Just 2 goaltenders playing kind of out of their mind in that game. But 7-3 win over Bakersfield on Saturday, and you're down Luke Modulin and Nikolai Kanishov. Big win. Yes, I know that 4-0 loss, but San Diego goals on Wednesday beat them down 6-2. Beat down, for a very big win on Saturday the 10th, 4-2 win against the Condors. 3-2 overtime loss against the Condors Friday night, and that game very much a very winnable game as well. Like Abbotsford Canucks, a 3-2 loss, and then you had a 1-2 win against the Canucks earlier this month as well. Like, this team has been playing very, very well recently. It's very much too little, too late for the Barracuda. As of right now, they are 8 points behind Bakersfield, and Bakersfield has 4 games in hand right now. So they'd have to go on a huge run here to potentially. So a lot of games left. There's about 24 games left in the series, the season. So there is some time left, but they need to go on a massive run to try to make the playoffs here. But back to Bordeleau though, I think he, maybe that just a little bit of that maturation of I know what I have to do to kind of play in the NHL. And that's a big thing for young players, right? You remember, like, Bordeleau's always been one of the best players on his team. Michigan, I know they had some other great names on there, but was always a big contributor, right? Even last year, kind of making his debut in with the AHL, immediate impact, right? But that maturation of, like, okay, if I'm not scoring goals, what else can I do? How can I make myself so valuable that they can't scratch me? And I think that's what we saw from Eklund, right? Eklund kind of took to that mentality, and now he's playing on the penalty kill, right? Eklund is, maybe he's not scoring what you want him to do on a team that has been shut out 9 times this season. But Eklund has made himself invaluable to the Sharks and David Quinn. The only time he's missed a game this year is because of an injury. And they know the best thing for Eklund is to continue to play well and get these minutes, right? For Bordeleau, can you continue to try hard? Bordeleau's never going to be like a Selke or like a defensive standout. Can you try hard? Can you at least right positioning? Just don't be a negative in the defensive zone. Just if you can be an even in the defensive zone. That way we can trust you. And again, it's not like the Sharks are going to, if you place the Sharks, right, you're probably going to spend a lot of time in your defensive zone. You're going to have to kind of work hard in those areas. So I think for Bordeleau, that's the big key, is continue to have a positive attitude, continue to work hard in your defensive zone. And then, make it or take advantage of the opportunities you get. So I expect to see Bordeleau up here soon. He's been playing really, really well for the Barracuda. I would expect him, especially after the trade deadline, I would expect him to kind of get a nice little run here at the end of the season to try to kind of solidify himself going into next year, right? Look at the Eklund plan, right? Eklund got his 8 games last year. We know if it wasn't for contract shenanigans, he probably would have stayed up the rest of the season. But then he knows kind of where he sits, and I think the same thing for Bordeleau. Come in, take advantage of the opportunities. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. You could even potentially see an Eklund Bordeleau Conan line or Eklund Bordeleau whatever line. Take advantage of those opportunities, right? I think those 2 guys, the creativity that they have together, I think there's a chance for them to kind of do something nice down here at the end of the season. But again, this AHL, right? They hammer home development league, continue to develop those skills going forward. And I think Bordeleau, no need to worry about Bordeleau. I think Bordeleau's going to get a chance here soon. So that's going to do it for me today. My voice is just about done. We'll be back on Wednesday. So this is Tuesday's episode. So we'll be back on Wednesday for the 1000th episode of Locked On Sharks since I've become the host, where I'm going to answer your mailbag questions. So keep putting in your questions. I'll try to pick out the best ones. So you can find that on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can listen to the show wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. You can follow me on Twitter at MyFryhole. Until Wednesday. Bye, friends.